What if I told you that cancer could be the best thing that ever happened to you? I'm Joelle Kaufman, and after 4 decades of cancer experience across 3 generations of my family, I've learned something most people won't tell you about this disease. Right now, as you're listening to this, someone just heard the words, "You have cancer," for the first time. In the next hour, 230 more people will join them. But here's what nobody tells you about that moment. It's not the end of your story. It's a beginning. It's a beginning of discovering just how powerful you really are and just how innovative treatment has become. Welcome to Kicking Cancer's Ass, the podcast where we explore how life's curveballs become catalysts for connection, power, and joy. Each episode brings you insightful interviews with leading innovators transforming cancer care and people whose lives are transformed by their cancer journey. You'll be motivated, you'll be inspired, you'll be amazed. This is where all of us, whether we are facing cancer or not, rewrite the narrative from victim to victor, from surviving to thriving, one curveball at a time. Remember, you're stronger than you think, and you are definitely not alone. Welcome to Kicking Cancer's Ass, a podcast that, like me, refuses to play by the rules. I'm Joelle Kaufman. I've spent more than 4 decades as an unwilling fighter in the cancer trenches. It began when I was 13 and watched my mother obliterate the first of multiple diagnoses. Then it was my sister, and ultimately, my triple-negative breast cancer diagnosis in January 2023. When cancer knocked on my door, I didn't just answer, I invited it in for a chat about who would be calling the shots. Spoiler alert, wasn't going to be the cancer. The prevailing narrative around cancer, reinforced by movies, TV, hushed conversations, tells us that a diagnosis equals a death sentence, or at least a significant reduction in quality of life. That narrative is wrong more often than it is, but that doesn't create drama for entertainment. For example, the 5-year survival rate for localized early-stage breast cancer, like mine, which is the majority of breast cancers, it's over 95%. That's not a typo. It's greater than 95%. Yet, when cancer enters our lives uninvited and unexpected, fear overshadows facts and we lose sight of our power and our choices. This podcast will flip the script. We're going to introduce you to survivors, medical innovators, scientists, wellness pioneers, and caregivers who will expose you to new opportunities to change the narrative, regain control, and discover happiness along the journey. We'll laugh, we'll curse, we might cry, but most importantly, we're going to share practical strategies that help me and countless others crush cancer's curveball. The goal isn't to sugarcoat cancer. It sucks, full stop. But what if we could experience profound joy, deeper connections, and even personal growth while kicking cancer's ass? I did, and I hope you can too, or someone you love can too. This will be your playbook every week for facing cancer with confidence, community, and even with a few curveballs of your own. Cancer is somewhat inevitable. 1 out of 2 Americans will face it in their lifetime. It's statistically impossible. You're not going to have to deal with it. Every episode of this podcast will inspire you, will give you something to think about, maybe even challenge something you believe. Whether or not you're facing cancer, someone you love is facing cancer, or you're in the lucky minority that never has to think about cancer at all. Let's get started.